Hello and welcome to the Album Man. Today it's CDs and vinyl I bought recently for September 2013. And in the background, don't know how loud it is, but we have some Nirvana. And no, not Kurt Cobain Nirvana, we're talking UK 60s psychedelic Nirvana, and this is the album The Story of Simon Path, released in 1967, in my opinion the first concept album of all time. A very interesting, very short album, only about 25 minutes long, but very interesting album, pretty good. And the first song we're playing now, Wings of Love, very strong song. So very interesting album, do check it out. Let's get on. We'll start with the vinyl first, not too many, only a few. Then we'll get on to the CDs. So, Rossington Collins Band. Anytime, any place, anywhere. This is my second Rossington Collins Band, and what's not to like about them? I mean, it's Gary Rossington, Alan Collins, Leonard Skinner, goodness. So, yeah, that's always cool. A band I've been wanting to get some for a long time. We have some Procol Harum, and this is Shine On Brightly. Yeah, so this is probably the Procol Harum album I've wanted the most. That and, oh god, what's the one with like the sea themed one? Salty Dog, something like that. But yeah, the thing about this has one of the first real prog songs on it. Inhaled 'Twas in I on the side 2. Which is a whole proper little suite, not sung, if I don't drop it, that you often saw in 1968, so very, very important to the development of progressive rock, which would really be born in 1969, I would say, with In the Court of the Crimson King, but that's subject to debate. Many people say Sgt. Pepper started prog, but I'm not so sure about that. Talking of prog, the last Peter Gabriel album of Genesis I didn't have, so yay! Selling England by the pound. Why it took me so long to get this, I don't know. Well, probably because I wanted it on vinyl. So there you go, but now I have it on vinyl, lovely condition. Haven't got around to it yet, I know, Criminal, but Cinema Show, that's a great song. I do know a couple of songs on it, and, I'm sure it will be awesome. I've, loved most of the other Peter Gabriel Genesis albums. From Genesis to Revelation isn't great, but most of them are, Okay, so let's get some metal on. Let's start the CDs and some metal. So we have one of 2012's releases, Testament, Dark Roots of the Earth. And I had this album being talked about quite a lot last year as one of the best albums of the year. So I thought I'd check it out, listen to the single Native Blood, really like that song. I mean, it's just fantastic. And to be honest, I love this album. It is just amazing. I listen to it on my hi-fi and like my iPod as well. It's just really good, and this is the deluxe version, which includes 4 bonus tracks, including covers of Animal Magnetism by the Scorpions and Power Slave by Iron Maiden, which, they're decent, but the main stuff is the original songs, which are just fantastic. Really, really enjoyed this album. Cold Embrace and Native Blood, I'd say, are my favourites. But there really isn't a bad song on it. It's just a really consistent album. I like it a lot. The bands I've been obsessed with recently. Baroness, the Blue record. I just adore Yellow and Green. It's one of the best albums I've heard this year. I mean, I know it came out last year, but just this year that I've heard, not came out. And picked up Blue, and it's awesome. It's heavier than Yellow and Green, definitely, but it's awesome. My favourite song has to be A Horse Called Golgotha, and the intro before it, Ogechi Himnal. I don't know, that whole little bit's just epic. Jake Legs, awesome, Swollen, Halo, the gnashing. It's just an amazing album. I just bloody love Baroness at the moment. Can't wait to go and see them later this month, so that'll be cool. In a couple of weeks' time, I'm going to see them live. Very much looking forward to that. Okay, this is an odd band. So, Frameshift, Unweaving the Rainbow. So, Frameshift were recommended to me, I think, by Matthew Phillips, the person who created my awesome channel, Banner Stuff. So, big thank you to him, because that is so cool. And Even he recommended the album with Sebastian Bach, I think, on vocals, which is the second album. I decided to pick up this first one, where I am. James LeBray, Dream Theater, who obviously I love, and think about this, Unweaving the Rainbow, it's basically, it's a concept album based on the books of Richard Dawkins, and I love Dawkins' work, particularly Unweaving the Rainbow, the main book this is based on. I think that's a fantastic book. Yeah, definitely one of my favourite sort of popular science books, I suppose you'd call it. But yeah, I mean, and this was before the God Delusion came out, this album was made, see, this is when Dawkins was just sort of a notorious biologist as opposed to more the celebrity that he is nowadays because of that book. So yeah, very, very cool album. Opeth, and we have Deliverance. Now, some of you may say, hold on, why are you getting an Opeth album like this? You've said many times before how much you don't like death growls. Well, I've been listening to Blackwater Park, because I got that for Christmas, and I've been listening to that a lot recently, and I've just fallen in love with that album. It's just fantastic. It really is. I don't care that it has death growls. Yes, it does. But the thing with death growls, I don't mind them in moderation if they're well used. I really don't. They can be used well. I find genres like death metal where it's just relentless. I just find that a bit too much. Not for me. But the mixture, the Opeth balance, certainly in these two albums, between the cleans and the growls of Michael Ackerfeld, it's just fantastic. And combined with these, just the musicianship is just stellar. These are just some of the most talented musicians I've heard. I mean, seriously great musicianship. This one, not as good as Blackwater Park, is a great album. I'm just so into Opeth at the moment. Really, really big on Opeth. Now, this, sometimes I've done my sort of album of the month thing. I'll just, pick an album at the end and tell you which, I've enjoyed listening to the most out of the stack. But this time I'm just going to do it now because there's one album, well, most of them have been, very good albums I've got. There's just one that's just been head and shoulders above the rest. This is Woods of Eep, Woods 5, Grey Skies and Electric Light, which has been dominating my life for the last week and a bit. I've listened to this about 7 times maybe. I just don't know what to say. It's from Lightning and Snow to Alternate Ending. It's one of the best metal albums I've heard. Certainly one of the best doom metal albums I've ever heard. It's just mind-blowing. It should have been, I mean, seriously, if I'd known about this album last year, when it came out, it would have been my top 5 of the year. It's just mind-blowing. It truly is. Stuff like my favourite songs have to be Adore Vivos, that's my favourite, and then Death Is Not an Exit, love that. Probably Kiss My Ashes Goodbye, and Finality, that's such a beautiful song. Obviously Tragic, What Happened to David Gold, goes without saying, but god damn, if you're going to end on an album, what a monster of an album to end on. Just check this out, even if you maybe don't like doom metal, or you think this is going to be, because Woods of Eep, I know in the early days used to be more black metal. Don't be put off thinking, oh, this is black metal growling stuff. No, it really doesn't. It's, it has some harsher vocal sections, yes, but this is just straight up doom metal and some of the best I've heard in my entire life. It's just, I just can't praise it enough. So a couple of new releases. Unfortunately, I'm not going to say about in this video. Dream Theater's Dream Theater. I'm not going to say anything, my lips are sealed until I review. This review should be up by now, Alter Bridge's Fortress, so check that out for my full review. In short, I love this album, it's great. Okay, a 2013 release I'll be reviewing soon, but I'll talk about a little bit. This is Scorpion Child's, Scorpion Child, it's a self-titled debut album, I think, from the band, and, it's one of those where the sort of the PR little sticker it has on the front sums it up perfectly. It says, for fans of Led Zeppelin, yay, Rival Sons, yay, and Graveyard, yay, 3 bands I freaking adore. And you know what? They were right. if you like 70s rock, then check this band out. This band was recommended to me by someone. I honestly can't remember who. Sorry about that. But yeah, really enjoyed this. This is the limited edition thing. Has a bonus track. Keep going. And yeah, this is a strong album. Liquor or whatever is probably my favourite track on the album. But yeah, it's just solid 70s, really fuzzy. Rival Sons like rock, and I love that type of 70s revival. I've talked about it before. I really like it. It's cool. Okay, so let's have some prog. Big Big Train, the Under 4 Yard. So, Big Big Train are a band I've been hearing quite a bit about in the prog world, especially with the English Electric Part 1 and 2, which was released last year and this year. And the Under 4 Yard, I've only had the first 5 songs. I'm saving the last track, which is a 20-minute epic. I want to hear that on my hi-fi. But what I've heard so far, it's very interesting, very Genesis-y. If you like this, then listen to this, because you'll probably like them quite a bit. Though, the only flaw I really could say is that it's a bit too Genesis-y, if you know what I mean. It's... I love Genesis, Peter Gabriel Genesis, but this can just sound a bit too eerily similar to, I don't know, I get a bit of a nursery crime vibe off it personally. A bit too eerie at times, but in general it's really solid prog. Definitely check them out. Okay, a couple of classics. Schools Out, Alice Cooper. Why I didn't have this, I don't know. It isn't remastered. I don't know if there is a remastered version, but cool album to listen to. I like Alice Cooper. And lastly, David Bowie Space Oddity, the remastered version, which is cool. I think this is a very underrated album from Bowie. Obviously the title track isn't, everyone knows that, but stuff like Signet Committee, which is a 9.5-minute song. You don't see Bowie doing things like that, do you? And yeah, I mean, it's a strong album. Very different to his other stuff, but many of Bowie's albums have a unique style, but this is one of my favourites. Definitely one of my favourite Bowie albums. Yeah, a bit overlooked. Okay, so that's basically been it. And yeah, that's been the Album Man. Thanks for watching, comment, subscribe, and as usual, long live rock and roll.